Alright everybody, we're going to be working on the chair, and these are from plans. So now these were originally from Stanley. I downloaded these off their official website, probably a good 12 years ago, if not more. They're no longer there, so unfortunately. Anyway, here's the cut list that we're going to need. So today we're just going to be working on the back legs, okay? But there's everything you'll need if you want to take a minute, write that down, okay? And all these, except for the 2x4s, I sawed out of other stock. The 2x I sawed out of a 2x12x8, and the 1x I sawed out of 1x6x8. So it's a little bit more work. Obviously, they do make nominal 1x3s in regular lumber, but then you'd have to paint it, or put some sort of appropriate finish on it for outside. So a little bit more work up front with the pressure treated, but it's pressure treated, so it's geared for outside. So anyway, this is only going to be on the back leg, right? And I'm doing all the camera work myself for this, because I think for this you really want to see everything that's going on. I'm afraid if somebody else was doing this, they wouldn't be able to capture everything. So here's a little schematic for the leg, and as we can see, we come up, we have this laid out. This flat spot, the bottom will be 14.5 inches up from the bottom, and then the next line will be at 17.5. And back here we can see that it's 16 inches to the midpoint right there. Well, not the midpoint, but where the two angles meet to form the arrowhead, as I call it. And it's 2 inches in width. Okay, now I've followed this and made it out of a 2x4. However, my recommendation would just to do it as a 2x6. I'll show you why. When you do it as a 2x4, your line starts right here, right on the edge, and that is extremely hard to start a cut with. On a 2x6, it would just give you a little bit more room to saw with. So anyway, if we go back, all right, you can see this is, so we come in off the back edge 2 inches, and the same is true for there. So 2 inches, and then 2 inches. Right now, I'm gonna have to set this down for a second. Alright, and I'm sorry about that, everybody. Like I said, I'm just doing it all myself this time. So if any of you get seasick, I'm very sorry. So we'll lay out our main lines, 14.5 and 17.5. These other two lines you see here are for the mortise pocket, which I'll get into later. Okay? So once we got those established, we know where our lines are going to come in at. So take our straight line and measure it from our 2-inch mark, and then set it up to our 14.5-inch mark. And for this, I use a carpenter square. And I'll tell you why. Because this here, this body right here, is 2 inches thick. So by setting it up, I'm doing this, like I said, I'm doing this one-handed. I'm really sorry, guys. But by setting it up on the line, once you guys set it to the line, you can just draw on both sides of it, and that will give you your 2-inch width. And then you set it up back here and line it up with this mark right here, and then you'll draw on both sides of it, and that will give you your 2 inches from here, and this establishes your angle. And I marked it 16 inches just to make sure I did it right, and we see that this is where they intersect. Alright, that gives us our angles. Now we come over here back to our plans, and we can see where our mortise pockets are. So for here, this is 6 inches to the bottom, then 8.5 inches to the top. This is 14. Alright, that's not quite it. This is only going to be 2.5 inches, not 3. So you gotta come in a quarter off each side. Alright, and then finally you have where your armrest is. Okay, that is going to be 24 inches up from the bottom. So you lay all these out on your edge. Okay, all right, so 24 inches to 27, because that's going to be 3 inches. All right, then we got here our next one, our next mortise pocket, then finally our third mortise pocket. Okay, now you want to make all your mortise pockets before you cut it out. Here's why. Your bottom's going to be flat. All right, if you saw it, you know, saw your angle on, then your reference surface will no longer be flat. So, and the way you get that is, you know, it's going to be 1 inch deep. All right, so you would just take, you would lay, this is actually my second piece, so I didn't bother to lay out the lines, but you would lay out your reference lines and then measure down to your 1 inch below the surface of your line here. Okay, and then you would just take and set your combination square to 1 inch. It's not there yet, well, to wherever it was, to make it 1 inch below, and then you would just move that across. And let me give you an example here. You see, here's the leg I already worked on. It's been sawn out, and you can see where the mortise pocket is actually flat to the bottom. Okay, same here, and that's how get that. Now you can chop out your mortise pocket. All right, however, this is one situation where it's best to drill it out, well, bore it out, and that's what I did. And then you can see those 3 circles at the bottom. That's for my auger bit. And what I do is I just take the auger bit, set the bottom of my auger to the line, and then take tape and wrap around it. In fact, you can see where some of the tape is still on from the last time. And then I would bore down until I came flush with that line. Once that was all bored out, I would take my chisels and remove whatever waste was left. So, and then I would do that for all 3 mortise pockets. Okay. And in case you're wondering, I'll try and set it up so you can see it here. Now, I've been using this little small steel square simply because the longer body helps smooth out any inconsistencies with the edge of the board. Dimensional lumber isn't squared like, well, structural lumber isn't squared like, you know, normal 1x is. So there's a lot of warbles and hills and valleys that make that if you use like that, it's very hard to keep square, which is here the longer body does help, you know, go smooth out some of those differences. Okay, so I would just set it up here and then take, alright, I already made this, so right there we go. And then I would take my pencil and there it is, and then I would mark just right down. Okay, alright, now I would take and set this up to, oops, sorry, I don't want to do that too often. Set that up to, I said it was, I had it like 1, not quite there. Wow, that's a little bit too far. Right there, right at the 1 inch mark. And then I would just take and draw a line all the way till I hit my other reference line, and that would mark the depth of my mortise pocket. So once that's done, I would clamp it in here, clamp it in my vise, and so I don't know what you're using, so there we go. Your clamping method might be different than mine. I would then take and mark across here, across the top, so I know I was square, and I would start with my rip saw, just rip down to here. You want to be just on this side of the line, all right, because you're going to have a rough surface, and you're going to want to smooth it out then with a plane. Okay, this side right here, I actually take a saw it down to around here, and I'll take a chisel and just chisel that much out, and that will give me a shoulder that I can now use to rip down. Now, you don't have to do this, but I find that if I take a crosscut saw and cut down to here, it helps out, because then I can rip down, I get to the line, and then that falls off. So then just creates a natural break. And if you look over here, and that's the saw mark that left over from when I made the little shoulder on this piece. I got a little too far down, and when I planed it, it still didn't come out, but oh well. Anyway, that's what they make filler for. Like I said, here we have the top, and eventually it will, like I said, this will be flat, and then, like I said, our other two structural supports will be cut at an angle to go into there. Okay. The outside is smoothed with a hand plane. I used a 5.5, but if you have a 5, that's fine. And then for the inside, though, using a plane is a little bit harder. I actually use my spoke shave, but you can even use a block plane, and then use a chisel just to get that last little bit out. Okay, and get it all nice and smooth. You can see, let's say, some of the cut pieces. Okay, and that's kind of it. And that's how you make the legs. Like I said, once you get this ripped, just take it out of the vise, flip it over, and repeat the operation. Like I said, I wish I could show you, but I thought it was really important just to actually show you on the plans what they were, show you the dimensions, and just make sure you really saw how it was all laid out. So let's see here. Hold on a second. Maybe I have a pocket up here, and I will see if I can put it in here. There we go. All right. Okay. Let me get my rip saw. And I'll make my mark here. If I find my, oh, here we go. All right, make my mark. All right, hopefully you're all seeing this. All right. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little, just a touch over. Okay. All right, okay. Then here we go. Nope. Just want to be over the line. Okay, the duct work. Anyway, you get the hint. So yeah, that's how it would be done. Like I said, I got a little bit too far over the line, but that's actually fairly easy to correct for right now. But so, all right, and yeah, that's about it. So, alright, I'm going to end it here, and I will get somebody else to actually hold the camera next time. This was an experiment for me to see, you know, like I said, I wanted to make sure that you saw what I was actually doing and really got a good look, and I didn't think having somebody else hold the camera would actually do that, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'll just get somebody else to do it when I go over the other support. So, alrighty, that's it for this episode. See you later.